Man, I feel really bad, because some of these pieces of news were announced so late into the day that it doesn't give anybody time to really prepare and internalize what's going on. Today we're talking about my three favorite teams, the Canucks, the Habs, and the Red Wings, because each of them had themselves some pretty interesting news heading into today's NHL action. Now, the problem with this is that literally the Habs and the Red Wings are going to be playing by the time this video is up on YouTube. It's just unfortunately like that. They have games at 4 p.m. PST. And as I had said, some of the news that we're going to be talking about in this video was literally released 10 minutes before puck drop, so you know what? I wanted to go out there and talk about it all. The Canucks don't have a game today, so I think there's a little bit of breathing room for a video like this, even though the Habs and the Wings fans that are tuning in, trying to get the scoop as to what's going on, you're not really going to have any time to prepare. So let's go out there and start with the news we had earlier this morning from the Detroit Red Wings, because it was announced that forward Patrick Kane has been activated off of the IR, and he will be suiting up for the Detroit Red Wings later against the Ottawa Senators. Okay, I say later against the Ottawa Senators, literally like now. He is in the lineup now. And because of this transaction, Patrick Kane reactivated and brought back into the lineup, you also had yourselves this piece of news that William Lagesson has been sent down to the Grand Rapids Griffins in the AHL. That news was from a few days ago. I think it was opening up the roster move for Patrick Kane to make his full return. It took 2 days, but still. It was good here to see that everything worked out for Patty Kane, who, this season, if you head over to his point production, it hasn't really been all too great, although he does have skill. I will say that Patrick Kane still has the hands as silky as he has always had, but he's got 10 points in 20 games played this season, which is on pace for 39 points in 77, a decline from his 47-point marker from last year after signing on with the Red Wings as one of the more underrated pickups in free agency. Of course, by the time this video is up, you would have already probably seen him play a shift, so hopefully Patrick Kane's able to go out there and contribute offensively more so than he has this season thus far, and be able to actually put himself back on the map there. I think that's a pretty important part for Kane, building up his overall stock. But good news for the Wings, pretty bad news for the Ottawa Senators, because anytime you've got Patty Kane going up against you, obviously that's a pretty big deal here. You can say it kind of contributes to a bigger idea of the Red Wings and their lack of depth scoring, but hey, you have guys like Tarasenko, like Patrick Kane, whom we know have ceilings of being more than what they've been so far, so ultimately, this is kind of what you're hoping for, right? You want to see these guys be able to get their groove back and put themselves in a position to help out with the Wings' depth scoring. That's ultimately what you need, but we'll see what happens, right, against the Ottawa Senators. That, of course, is going on right now. Heading into Montreal, yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. This piece of news was announced 10 minutes ago, so like 20 minutes before the game actually began. Defenseman Kaiden Guhle will not participate in tonight's game due to illness. Justin Barron will play versus the Nashville Predators. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Guhle's out? What the hell? Oh no. But the thing is, he's only out with an illness. He's not out with an injury. They are technically different. Kaiden Guhle might just have himself a pretty bad case of the runs, or maybe there's a bug going around. There is a lot of stuff going on at this time of the year. So, Kaiden Guhle missing some time. I'd say that if we're wanting to be conservative, maybe he misses a max like 2 games or whatever, because I think we all know what it's like to be under the weather during holiday season. If he's out for more than 2 or 3 games, then I think we would probably start to get a bit concerned here, but maybe 1 to 2 games, it should be okay. Justin Barron is a very okay replacement. Of course, he's not Kaiden Guhle caliber, but you get what I mean here. The Montreal Canadiens aren't necessarily going down with the ship with Kaiden Guhle's departure from the lineup in a game. But either way, just something to keep an eye out. Hopefully Guhle and his recovery process is smooth, and hopefully whatever it is that he hasn't transferred to other parts of the team and other players on the team. We've seen, like, you know, obviously we had a pandemic 4 years ago, but we have seen illnesses travel through teams and take out multiple guys at once, and we had the mumps with Sidney Crosby all those years ago that was affecting a whole bunch of players in the Penguins locker room. It can be quite the wild ride. So hopefully everybody's okay, everybody's able to get back up to speed. But of course, you've already been watching the game by now. Kaiden Guhle's not in, Justin Barron is in against the Nashville Predators. Now, going over to the last piece of news here that I wanted to go over, the Vancouver Canucks made multiple roster moves earlier this morning. GM Patrick Allvin announced today the following moves. Jonathan Lekkerimaki and Cole McWard have been recalled from the AHL's Abbotsford Canucks. Filip Hronek has been placed on the LTIR, retroactive to November 27th, 2024, and following his transaction, Max Sasson was recalled from Abbotsford. So we've got three guys to talk about here: Jonathan Lekkerimaki, Cole McWard, and then Max Sasson. Sasson was sent down earlier this week and then called back up because of the same reasons we've been saying with other guys. I mean, we've been seeing the Vancouver Canucks do this up and down song and dance for a good chunk of time now this season with guys like Emil Brannstrom and Arshdeep Bains. So obviously, Max Sasson, he was playing well enough to be kept up in the roster. 2 points in 5 games played so far with the Vancouver Canucks. But him just rotating around in the bottom of the lineup, getting some practice reps in there, rotating with Aatu Räty, it's good for him, good for his development. Max Sasson is 24 years old after all, so it's not like he's necessarily too young. If he's going to become an NHL player, it's going to be in stints like these where he really proves that he has what it takes to stick around longer term. Meanwhile, for the other guys, Jonathan Lekkerimaki's back up at the team. He has himself 1 goal in 5 games played so far. Who knows if his chance to get back into the lineup is going to be soon or later. He played 5 games with the Abbotsford Canucks since we last saw Lekkerimaki in Vancouver, although he only has 1 goal in the 5 games that he has had since returning to Abby's lineup on Friday, November 22nd. So that's not ideal. Obviously, you would hope that he produces a bit more, considering that he was producing more in his first stint with the Abbotsford Canucks. I mean, it's night and day difference. Take a look at how much he was getting offensively in the first stint of the year. He was scoring goals, multi-goal games, he was getting a whole bunch of points up there, and now he only has 1 point in his last 5 AHL games. Kind of concerning. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit, but hopefully he is able to transfer some of those offensive talents into the National Hockey League. And then you had yourselves Cole McWard, who was called up here on his first stint with the team. He's got 6 points in 21 AHL games this season. McWard is 23 years old, right-handed defenseman. I'm not directly saying that he's going to replace Filip Hronek of all people, but he is an extra body who is going to be filling in practice. Maybe he gets a game or two. Maybe he dethrones Vinny Desharnais at some point. It's very well possible that Cole McWard gets a game. He did get some games with the Canucks last season and the year before that, exiting the Ohio State University Buckeyes system in 22-23, so it's possible, but of course, Cole McWard getting the call-up and being a part of the Canucks organization, it's good for him. He's getting a bigger payday, and ultimately for the Canucks, it provides more options for them and their team. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about each of these 3 transactions that we have talked about. Jonathan Lekkerimaki, Cole McWard, and Max Sasson getting all recalled from the AHL's Abby Canucks. What are your thoughts on Filip Hronek also getting placed onto the IR retroactive to November 27th? This allows the Canucks to free up some cap space, as well as just kind of give Filip Hronek the space that he needs to recover. So if you're a Canucks fan, let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about each of these moves? And if you're a fan of the Canadiens or the Red Wings, of course, hey, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Patrick Kane and Kaiden Guhle news that we had talked about as well at the time of recording this audio. The games have started, or actually no, they haven't started. They are in the pregame right now. Yes, the pucks have not dropped for Nashville, Montreal, and Detroit, Ottawa just yet, so maybe there is still some breathing room for this video to live and prosper. But for now, thoughts in the comment section below about this news for the Canucks, the Wings, and the Habs. I wanted to combine them all because it's easier to do that. You know, they're my 3 favorite teams after all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.